civil rights movement that promotes the fact that people are going through struggle, tyranny, and control, this week has seen overreach that we've never seen before, and is changing the temperament of what's happening here. Right now, I've never seen so many people in Dundas Square. Give yourselves a hand for coming out. Unbelievable. You guys are amazing. So folks, the first thing I wanted to explain here is there's been a lot of confusion, some miscommunication about different signs that are going out there as part of this movement. We started this movement 8 months ago. We pride ourselves on being apolitical, and we do not align ourselves with any politicians or their political views. You guys hear me on that one? You guys know why, right? This is what got us into this problem in the first place. At the same time, we have our own signs that are specific to the movement without involving politics. They have been created by the people for the people during a time of struggle and tyranny, and these days, nothing is more true. These signs right here are very simple. They are for the signs of Line Canada. No More Lockdown.ca was created 8 months ago, and no other version of that sign or website is approved. It is directly connected to the line and our civil rights movement. Any other signs that are not specifically Mothers Against Distancing, Hugs Over Masks, and the Line Canada in this area are not part of the original movement. Are you with me? We're the ones that started this, my friends, okay? There are signs out there that look similar and have a similar message with site names and stuff, but those signs are politically affiliated and were created less than 2 months ago. I hope that clears up some of the confusion, miscommunication. Thank you for hearing us and trusting us on this. Having said this, some of us here on the ground, we've got the line over here selling t-shirts and hoodies. We just got our great shipment. Oh boy, what am I doing here? What a perfect unveiling. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. We've got all our new hoodies. Please grab one while they're available. It's getting colder, right? Finally, if you wish to donate to our cause to keep us heard, send us some funds through donate@theLineCanada.com. That's done. I love getting rid of business, right? Now, 33 weeks, we've seen a lot going on here, my wonderful friends, and especially the people who are speaking here today and into our future protests. Please keep in mind, every week we're getting into the streets because half the speakers come to me while we're getting ready to say, hey, I just need a couple of minutes. I'm like, okay? I will remind the speakers of how much time they have to speak. It's either 5 or 10 minutes based on your subject. And if I come close to your time limit, I'm going to let you know and give you a 1-minute heads up. Please do your best to understand. Don't take it personally when I'm trying to keep you on time. You guys hear me? Yeah. Don't take it personally. We're all trying to help each other out here. There are other speakers here with important messages, and I have messages to deliver that are very key. If you constantly disregard my cues to wrap it up, I will give you 3 warnings and then cut off the mic. Has anybody seen me do that in 33 weeks? It only happened once. And I hate doing that, but I have to protect the people. Why? Because it's nothing personal. The people of Toronto are waiting for our message, okay? The police are keeping traffic streets closed for us, and we need to stay on track. Thank you so much for listening and respecting the rules so everyone is honored. Does everyone agree with me, yes or yes? Yeah. Hold on there, hold on, Nico. It sounds like there's 1,000 people out here. I need to hear almost 6,000 of these people say yes or yes. Yes, people. Yes, yes, yes. Rise up. Rise up. Rise up. Rise up. Rise up. Freedom. Freedom. Liberté. I love you guys so much. You know this. So with no further ado, my friends, I want to pepper in some news with some speakers, but I'm telling you, today, the reason you're here, and you haven't been asked to be up here or get here real close like we've been doing here, I'm telling you, Today we have the most amazing list of speakers I have ever seen in 33 weeks! I'm going to introduce this gentleman, and you know what I'm talking about right here. The next person who's going to come up here to talk, I'm going to tell you who this is in a second here. Trained at McMaster University in psychology, family medicine, epidemiology, and clinical research, went to University of Ottawa for general and cosmetic surgery, is a clinical professor at McMaster University, currently studying for a Master of Theology at Tyndale College or University, published extensively in medical and surgical journals in Canada and the US, practiced family medicine and surgery for the past 35 years, developed a keen interest in epidemiology and management strategy of COVID-19, produced a YouTube video on the topic which yielded 11,000 views on the subject, is using his clinical research and epidemiology background to help us all out, is a member of the Great Barrington Declaration on the Focused Protection Model for COVID-19. Please welcome, and thank goodness our medical professionals are finally getting up here to help. Please put your hands together for Dr. Imad Gregas.
Thank you. Wow, thank you very much. What a crowd, what a crowd. Look at this beautiful day. The sun has risen, and so have the people. You know, today I speak on behalf of 50,000 physicians who have signed the Great Barrington Declaration to end the lockdowns and use focused protection, a rational model. I want to talk to you about medicine. My first day of class, McMaster University, the one line that kept threading through the entire training is doctors first, do no harm. I send this out to our public health officials. Do no harm. This is all about the benefit and the risk ratio in clinical decision making. For example, as a surgeon, if I diagnose somebody with appendicitis, I'm going to administer an operation, an appendectomy. It makes sense. The benefits of the surgery outweigh the side effects. Now, what do you think if I said to you, I'm going to use a chainsaw to remove the appendix? You think that's a good idea? No, because a chainsaw would cause more harm than benefit. You're going to damage collateral vessels, nerves, organs, and you're going to do collateral damage when your intent was to be very specific and focused. So in that case, the risks outweigh the benefit. Now, there are cases where you will use a saw. For example, if someone has gangrene of the foot, they could actually damage the rest of the organs from that gangrene. So we actually will use a saw, sadly, and do an amputation in order to save that person's life. Now, in other words, an illness has to be very grave and very serious in order to implement very aggressive measures. That's the risk-benefit ratio, and that's the model of do no harm. Now let's apply this to COVID-19. March 17th, we were told we have a pandemic of a very serious, very lethal virus, and we were shown videos of body bags in Italy and China, and we thought this is absolutely disastrous, so we need an aggressive approach. And hence lockdowns, social distancing, and all the other logos that came along with this very aggressive approach. Now, we say, why lockdowns? Why lockdowns? Well, at the time we were told that the benefits of lockdowns outweigh the risk, because if we do nothing, we're going to have droves of people, our friends, our family are actually going to die, and therefore we need a very aggressive approach. So we were told that the benefits of lockdown outweigh the side effects. Now, sometimes there is an appropriate approach for this. So we waited along and we thought, okay, it's going to be 2 weeks, no problem, flatten the curve. March 30th, Premier Doug Ford says, you know what, that 2 weeks wasn't enough. We need another 2 weeks because we haven't flattened the curve. So another 2 weeks come along, and then it's going to be 30 days, more lockdowns. So we started wondering, critical thinkers started to think, well, what's going on here? I started calling up my colleagues in hospital and said, what's going on? How many COVID patients do you have? This must be a disaster. 3, we have 3 patients in hospital. None of them are on ventilators. And none of us really found anybody who has COVID-19. Did you have friends or relatives of COVID-19? So we started wondering what exactly is going on, and is this chainsaw approach appropriate? And where did this come from, this chainsaw lockdown approach? Did you know that actually this approach was a result of a high school project by a 14-year-old young lady called Laura Glass? She said, well, let's see, with Spanish flu, if we apply lockdowns and social distancing, we can reduce the amount of contact over a period of time. Her dad was a computer modeler. He brought this to politicians, and they loved it. And they said, next time we have a pandemic, we're going to do lockdowns and social distancing. Scientists said, no, this is not clinically proven. This is a high school project. Politicians went with it, and they said, next time we have a pandemic, we're going to have a lockdown and social distancing. What I would call the chainsaw approach to management. Now, you might say, well, this would be appropriate if hospital resources were strained, if we were out of personal protection equipment. But as time went on through the ensuing months, we started seeing there's something wrong here. We're not seeing friends that are critically ill. We're not seeing ventilators being overextended. In fact, we're seeing the opposite. Hospitals are actually under as far as bed capacity. And so we started wondering, critical thinkers started thinking, what exactly is going on here? And then we started looking at the statistics for this coronavirus, and we found that if you have a healthy immune system, you have a 99.9% probability that you'll get over it. And we started thinking that, we started observing that actually the cases were focused in long-term care facilities, and those that had 3 comorbid conditions. So now all of a sudden we're like, okay, what's going on here? Do the benefits of lockdown and social distancing outweigh the risks? No. So you can't apply a chainsaw to a problem that can be contained with focused, precise management. Then we started wondering, well, what about this test, this PCR test? We started exploring this PCR test. Why are we doing so many PCR tests? Well, if you go to PCR tests, it's just all it picks up is remnant RNA viruses. And you can actually turn up the volume or turn down the volume to increase the sensitivity of the test. This is the inventor himself, Dr. Kerry Mullins, the creator of the PCR test. These are his own words. Anyone can test positive for practically anything with a PCR test. If you run it long enough with PCR and you do it well, you can find almost anything in anybody. It doesn't tell you that you're sick. It does not tell you that you're sick. And as a matter of fact, there's a recent study just released, the Journal of Clinical Infectious Diseases, September. They studied 4,000 people. They took the PCR test, and then they took the blood of those people and cultured the virus. Viral culture is the gold standard. You would be shocked what the results are. When you run the test at 30 cycles, you have an 80% false positive rate. 80% false positive rate in 4,000 people. Crank it up to 35 cycles, and you have 97% false positive rate. I'm going to translate this into what we're seeing right now in Ontario. Ontario uses between 35 to 45 cycles. Now, we actually have an admission by a public health official, Dr. Jeffrey, and she said that there's approximately 50% false positive rate. So the government officials actually admitted to 50% false positive rate. So when you come out of that PCR test and it's positive, flip a coin. It's that inaccurate. So then we're like, now we come to the end of the summer, and all of a sudden we're relieved and we're saying, we flattened the curve now, where we can start weaning back into normalcy. However, there's still going to be some restrictions. Social distancing, lockdowns, and all of a sudden masks. Where did that come from? When the public health officials said masks for the healthy are useless, masks experts said they're useless. Your virus is 0.1 micron. The best mask can only filtrate 0.3 microns. It's a physical impossibility. And it's unnecessary in the healthy to go around muzzled with masks. Masks are useless. Thank you. So let's look at yesterday. Yesterday, we ran 58,000 tests. 58,000 tests. I'm just going to call up the numbers here. And 1,855 people were tested positive. In Dr. Barb Yaffe's own admission, if it's 50% false positive of those 1,855, then actually only 1 in 100 people that were tested actually had some sort of a coronavirus. But if you use a clinical study that's even more accurate, only 56 people actually would have had the coronavirus, or 0.001%, or 1 in 10,000. And for this, the politicians are saying we're in a pandemic. Does 1 in 10,000 diagnosis justify a chainsaw lockdown reaction? Does 1 in 10,000 new cases justify 60 cruisers at Adamson's barbecue, 10 horses, arresting a young businessman desperate to make a living? This is a chainsaw, aggressive lockdown, heavy-handed approach to managing a virus that's much like any other coronavirus that's come and gone. I appeal to my colleagues. Remember first day of medical school, Dr. Tam, Dr. Davila. I appeal to you to remember do no harm and get a second opinion, please, from 50,000 physicians that have said to you the lockdown is an overstep. This is not medicine. Okay, I'm going to wrap this up. So basically, in conclusion, the focus protection model is what we recommend as physicians. Many of us recommend it. Not everybody is in agreement with consensus. There are others, in fairness, that agree with the public health approach of the lockdowns and social distancing. But I believe that we need a focused protection model to stop the harm on the healthy population with a perfectly healthy immune system and invest money in long-term homes and protect those with comorbid conditions. Like a surgeon performing a precise appendectomy, we need focused protection and stop using the chainsaw to destroy the lives of young business people trying to make a living. Taking them away from their family, putting them in jail, releasing a $50,000 bill. Whatever your opinion is on civil disobedience, I'm not going to weigh in on that. However, let's be rational. May God bless you.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you, brother. Wow. For some reason, I have a feeling we're going to see that doctor again. It only took us 33 weeks to get a medical professional up here. Can you believe that? Put your hands together for our hero right there. For all the medical professionals that are watching this right now, come on, people. Don't leave us out in the cold. Come and inform the fellow Torontonians, Canadians, and the rest of the world watching what's going on here, what's truly happening in the medical industry, right? Now, just to help this out along the same thread here, is we're going to bring up a lady here who recently moved to Toronto and is very concerned about her family, as much as all are, through all of this madness. This lady has a master's degree in biostatistics from the Dale Alana School of Public Health, University of Toronto. She worked as a statistician for cancer researchers for a number of years at Princess Margaret Hospital and independently. She's been opposing the fluoridation of our water for over 10 years. and became familiar with public health lies. There happens to be a couple of those running around. She's also learned Reiki, which is a good holistic approach to health, and gave treatments professionally for years. Recently, she discovered that the COVID-19, through the Freedom of Information Act, has never been isolated, thus making this whole lockdown completely illegal. But I will let her tell you about this. Recently, though, she was fired from her work for not wearing a mask. Can you believe that? Oh, I think we've been hearing this kind of stuff been going on. So put your hands together for Christine Massey!
Sorry.
By the way, guys, she's a little nervous. Can you put some love together for her just a bit?
Okay. Would a sane person mix a patient sample that contains various sources of genetic material and was never proven to contain any SARS-CoV-2 virus with transfected monkey kidney cells, fetal bovine serum, and toxic drugs, then blame the virus that they never looked for or found in the patient sample for harm to the monkey cells, and then claim that the resulting man-made concoction is SARS-CoV-2 isolate and ship it off internationally for use in vaccine and test development. Because that's the sort of fraudulent monkey business that's being passed off as virus isolation by research teams around the world and right here in Ontario. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to realize that investigation is needed to know if a new virus is causing disease. Public health authorities don't simply know these things. There are well-established, logic-based steps known as Koch's postulates that have been taught for decades in universities as the accepted means of determining whether a microbe is the cause of a disease. A modified version of Koch's postulates can be used to work with a suspected virus. A primary essential step in Koch's postulates is isolation, also known as purification. Separate the thing of interest from the diseased host and everything else. Then one can do experiments with a purified, uncontaminated thing to see if it can replicate in host cells, cause the same disease when introduced into another host, etc. But without the isolation step, one hasn't really even begun to investigate whether a new virus is causing disease. Nevertheless, if you read the method sections of the published papers claiming to have isolated SARS-CoV-2, SARS-CoV-2 being the name of the alleged COVID-19 virus, you find that in practice, virologists have actually been doing the exact opposite of isolating anything. Instead, virologists adulterate a patient sample with sources of genetic contamination, usually monkey kidney cells and fetal bovine serum, as well as toxic drugs. Okay. Then they irrationally blame any harm that occurs to the monkey cells on the virus that they never even tried to look for in the patient sample. They also perform completely meaningless PCR tests that are utterly incapable of determining the presence of an intact virus. They make meaningless comparisons of fabricated genomes, and they fraudulently refer to this exercise in illogic as isolation. By publicly claiming that they have isolated the virus, virologists create the false impression that they've been conducting legitimate science and investigating whether Koch's postulates are satisfied, when in fact they've done nothing of the sort. By doing this, they create a demand for their so-called virus isolate to be used by other researchers for developing COVID-19 tests, therapeutics, and vaccines, all for a never proven to exist, purely theoretical virus. That is not application of the scientific method and has nothing to do with public health. It's a wild, irrational speculation, and it's blatantly fraudulent. So, after hearing from brilliant doctors, scientists, and investigative journalists about Koch's postulates modified for a virus, and the fact that the isolation step had never been done for the alleged SARS-CoV-2, and starting to verify this for myself by looking at the method sections in the published papers, I started submitting Freedom of Information requests to Health Canada and other Canadian institutions to see if they had any evidence of real SARS-CoV-2 isolation. My requests were specifically worded to weed out the papers that had claimed to have isolated, but in fact performed what I call fraudulent monkey business. So far, the following Canadian institutions have responded: Health Canada, National Research Council of Canada, the Vaccine and Infectious Disease Organization - International Vaccine Center at the University of Saskatchewan, which had claimed to have isolated the virus, McGill University, the region of Peel, where I used to live, the City of Toronto, University of Toronto, Sunnybrook Health Sciences Centre, McMaster University, and Mount Sinai Hospital in Toronto. Note that researchers from the last 4 of those institutions had already publicly claimed to have jointly isolated the virus, and at least 2 of them are involved in COVID-19 vaccine development. Yet all of the listed institutions indicated the same, that they had searched their records and located none describing legitimate isolation of any SARS-CoV-2 patient sample performed by anyone, anywhere on the planet, ever. Interestingly, the City of Toronto repeatedly attempted to blow off my request just this past week, strongly recommending that I withdraw it, but I refused. The Assistant Registrar for the city then responded and stated, I quote, "Staff from Toronto Public Health have advised that they do not have any records related to your scope." In other words, Dr. Elaine de Villa, who I dealt with at the Region Appeal about water fluoridation, and she lied through her teeth continually, cannot prove the existence of her alleged virus, is participating in public health fraud, and in my personal opinion, belongs in jail for a very long time. Look her up. It's also interesting to note that FOI responses from several other Canadian institutions to the same request are long overdue. Ontario Ministry of Health has kept me waiting since May 14th. Public Health Agency of Canada since June 13th. Public Health Ontario since July 16th. What are public health officials afraid of? If they were competent in telling us the truth about COVID-19, rather than obscenely overpaid public health puppets, and if the virus actually existed, should this information not be at their fingertips? When I shared these responses on social media, people from various countries then submitted the same request to institutions around the world. Michael S. in New Zealand has been especially active. People started also alerting me to other FOI responses that were posted online. It became a crowdsourced project. People who had never laid eyes on each other were pitching in together to jointly collect and share this evidence of global fraud. As a result of everyone's efforts, we now have no records responses from well over 30 institutions around the world. And some of them are the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the U.S. Agency for Toxic Substances and Disease Registry, in New Zealand, the Ministry of Health, University of Otago that had claimed to have isolated the virus, Australia's Department of Health, Australia's Commonwealth Scientific and Industrial Research Organization involved in COVID-19 vaccine trials using the so-called SARS-CoV-2 isolate from the Peter Doherty Institute for Infection and Immunity. We also have a no records response from the Peter Doherty Institute for Infection and Immunity, which had publicly claimed to have isolated the virus. Do you see a problem here? UK's Government Office for Science, UK Medicines and Healthcare Products Regulatory Agency, Public Health Scotland, Public Health Wales, Public Health England, and the European Centre for Disease Prevention and Control has admitted to having no documentation, even for their own methodology, to prove that a new virus exists, let alone proof of SARS-CoV-2. To date, no institution has provided or cited even one paper to show that SARS-CoV-2 has actually been isolated from even one patient anywhere in the world. We also have a communication from the U.S. National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, which is Anthony Fauci's institute, indicating that the electron microscope images that they've published did not involve isolation of any virus. In other words, public health officials have zero evidence to support their story of a COVID-19 virus, let alone a COVID-19 pandemic. What we have here is evidence of global fraud, fraudulent science, a purely theoretical imaginary virus, meaningless tests, and fraudulent diagnoses. All of these FOI responses are publicly available at fluoridefreepeel.ca. You can find them by typing in FOIS in the search bar. A brief word about the so-called COVID-19 vaccines that governments want to force upon us. As I've explained, what's being passed of SARS-CoV-2 isolate and used to develop those vaccines is not purified virus. It's not proven to contain any SARS-CoV-2 virus because it's an imaginary virus. Instead, it's a man-made concoction derived from patient samples mixed with fetal bovine serum, monkey kidney cells, and toxic drugs. Why would anyone even consider consenting to such a vaccine? And isn't it interesting that public health officials who are so adept at isolating their victims have no interest in isolation of their alleged virus? Imagine if you were told to self-isolate and responded by inviting all your friends and family over. Maybe that's how we should respond if we're told to self-isolate. As far as I can tell, this has nothing to do with public health. It's merely a cover story used to justify the implementation of a very dark globalist agenda. Thank you to the organizers for the great event and for everyone who's resisting global COVID-19 fraud and the twisted agenda behind it in whatever way you can. Thank you to Rocco and Randy Hillier for giving us hope. 2020 is a year of clear vision. We will expose widespread fraud and corruption and shine the light of truth like never before. Because the truth will set us free, not going along with lies and fraud and tyranny. We will end the tyranny. Thank you all. God bless you.
Christine Massey! Christine Massey! Christine Massey! Christine Massey! Rise up! Rise up! Rise up! Toronto, wake up! Toronto, wake up! Amazing. I'm telling you guys, I am so blessed and honored to be up here to facilitate through the fact that the Line Canada, Hugs Over Masks, Mothers Against Distancing, and all the amazing organizations that we're working with have made it possible for us to bring up amazing people like her and amazing people that are coming up in the future here on this podium truck, because we are the people and we're not fancy and we're doing our best out here. Are you with me? Yes, yes, yes. Freedom! 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 You know, folks, no matter how tired we get or behind schedule, there's always time to chant a little freedom, you know what I'm saying? Liberté! Liberté! We're just warming up for the march, right? So guys, just passed. We did a little test with a little pots and pans protest up the street there at Queen's Park earlier this week, and it was a great success. So thank you to the organizers of that for sure. Put your hands together for helping out. All right? Now what we're gonna do is this. This Wednesday, we want these crowds out there, in addition to even more people, to have the biggest pots and pan protest in Canadian history at Queen's Park this Saturday. No, not yay for that Saturday. No. This Wednesday coming up. At 11 a.m., more than ever, we have to keep the pressure on these sitting politicians. Today, this is for the people of Toronto. Wednesday is for the politicians to get off their fat asses. We are practicing for more action to ensure that politicians never forget that we're the ones who have brought them to power. but that power has been misused long enough. They're not listening to us enough, but I'll tell you, we're going to have to keep reminding them of this action. What do you guys think? Are we going to be there next Wednesday at 11 o'clock? Yes, we are. We're going to have these signs all over the place. No more lockdown.ca. Are you guys with me? Absolutely. We'll have our speeches after we get there 11 o'clock. We'll start with a little bit of noise. We'll start some speeches before we head into the Toronto streets to send a message to John Tory and Doug Ford at City Hall, and then return to Queen's Park for some more noise, and we'll be done by 4 p.m. Are you guys with me or what? Man, oh man, am I ever excited about this crazy stuff. Oh, thanks, brother. Thank you. It's always nice to know you guys have my back. Literally, you have my back. Now, there's a gentleman in a community, we call them a flock, Church of God, people that have come all the way from Elmer, Ontario to give you some love today. How would you like to hear a little bit from the Church of God and Pastor Henry Hildebrand here today? Come on up here, my friend. You lovely man. Thank you, Henry. What a sad week for Canada. What a sad week for our God-given freedom enshrined in our Constitution. As the sound of the national anthem rings out, tears well out in our eyes, shocked to see what we see. Today, it's the owner of a beautiful barbecue place that is dragged to jail. Officers, what was the crime? This small business owner is selling brisket, trying to support his precious wife and 2 little children. Tomorrow, it's the pastor of a beautiful country church being handcuffed. Officers, what was the crime? This pastor refuses to shut down the church in order to prevent his congregation from gathering to hear the word of God. The day after tomorrow, it is you. It is you that will be arrested in your own home. Officers, tomorrow it will be you arrested in your own home. Officers, what will be the crime? This person refuses to subject their children to the local health unit for the greater good of the population. This is reality in 2020. This week, a minister of the gospel in Manitoba, Canada, was surprised in the dark hours of the evening by 4 vehicles pulling up to his home. He was charged $1,296 for attending a peaceful protest, and another $1,296. He's got 2 little children. Another one, $2,096 for attending a church service last Sunday morning. Is this Canada? What is this? What is going on? The following day, look at this. Get the other one. The following day, his church was charged $5,000 for having church on Sunday. Here's an original copy of the ticket. Listen, since when do you give God a ticket? Yesterday, a pastor in Elmer, Ontario, was charged for attending a peaceful protest in London, Ontario, this past Sunday afternoon.
My dear fellow citizens, what will it take for us to wake up, to rise up, and to stand up for God, to stand together as the church, to rally around little business families, to stand together as one human family? And refuse to kneel to worship the golden image when our power-driven government demands it, claiming to follow orders from the higher powers that have taken the place of God, the place of the church, and the place of the individuals. It is time to rise up, boldly face the burning fiery furnace and answer like the three Hebrews did. We are not careful to answer thee in this matter. If it be so, our God whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of thine hand, O king. But if not, be it known unto thee, O king. Be it known unto thee, O premier. Be it known unto thee, O mayor. We will not serve thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. Stand ye calm and resolute, like a forest close and mute, with folded arms and looks which are weapons of unvanquished war. And if then the tyrants dare, let them ride among you there, like we saw this week. Let them ride among you there, slash and stab and maim and hew. What they like, let them do, with folded arms and steady eyes and little fear and less surprise. Look upon them as they slay, till their rage has died away. Then they will return with shame to the place from whence they came, and the blood thus shed will speak in hot blushes on their cheek. Rise like lions after slumber, in unvanquishable number. Shake your chains to earth like dew, which in sleep had fallen on you. We are many, they are few. Let's pray.
Dear God, we're so thankful that you are in control. We're so glad that your power is greater than all the power of the world's governments combined. We pray that you would bless these dear people. We pray that you would help our law enforcement to make the right decisions. Help them never to forget that they're here to serve and protect. Bless these dear people. Thank you that you're a God of freedom. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you so much. Rise up. Rise up. Wow. Wow. I don't know why I love those people so much, but I'm telling you, when you look in their eye, you know there's something else going on there than just humanity. There's something coming through there that's real powerful. You know what? What is that stuff? It's something that kept me alive up until today to do this with you people here today. It's called the God Force, and I'm with you all. Trust me. Yes or yes? You guys are here. You will be a part of history forever. I have personally never seen this 50 years. I've never seen history books talking like this. Canadians have been so nice for so long, and here we are. We're still nice, but you don't want to mess with us. You know, there's a lot of people out there saying I'm an angry guy and I want violence, but come on. Come on. If you even know who I am, you would never see this, right? The people here today, come here. There's at least half of you people that are here because of what Skelly did here at Adamson's Barbecue, right? And there's some really great people that canceled their Waterloo protest to come here today. Give a hand for you guys too. All the other gatherings in southwestern Ontario have congregated here today to hold this huge gathering with us, my friends, especially with this huge turnout today. Everybody agrees that we stand with M. Skelly, his family for standing by him, and for the countless Canadian small businesses owners that are still surviving. We have a couple of people here today that I'll try to get in here for you guys to hear them speak. Don't believe the fear, small business owners. Know that our people will stand behind you, precisely because of the incredible financial support that has come forth. You will be protected. I think crowdfunding has done what? Over 200 grand for this guy in 3 days? Money always helps, but I'll tell you what, physically I would rather have you guys standing right here to give us the energy of doing this with us right now. Things have changed since the Adamson incident. Equal response is necessary. I saw one poster that said, okay, police services, you came with 110 of your darn horses. We come here with 6,000 to 8,000 people. That's what we do. We scale up when you step up to us like this. Unacceptable. And as you know me, you know I'm the guy that starts to chant back the blue, right? No more. No more back the blue. However, let me explain. There's a gentleman here that's going to come up in a second. Name is Vince. I'll tell you about him in a second here. But I have supported our police services at every stage since the beginning of this movement 8 months ago. We still have that mandate. However, after the behavior of John Tory's army of police thugs, the energy of our relationship is a bit different. I had the benefit of a conversation with our good retired OPP friend, Vince Gerses, and he reminded me of this important point. Not every police officer is on our side. When we chant back the blue, some of those guys are thinking, and it's being perceived by some of these officers, of please don't hit us and don't attack us. That's what some of them are thinking. It's being perceived as a weakness. It sounds a bit weak, and if we're asking for permission, I ain't asking for permission. Are you with me? Right. He recommended not to chant that, but here's a better way of announcing it. We fully support those men and women of law enforcement that stand up for our human and charter rights. In other words, my dear police officers, at the end of the day, we stand with you. However, make the right choice and stand with your people, not the oppressors. Right? Having said that, our next speaker is a retired member of the OPP with 32 years of service. Duties with the OPP included emergency response team, forensic reconstruction, and highway safety division across the GTA. He is also a recipient of the Police Exemplary Service Medal. Put your hands together for Vince Gerses! Woo!
Thank you. Thank you. You have no idea what it's like to stand up here, to be honored that I have an audience of this size that wants to hear what I have to say when a lot of my friends keep telling me to shut up. I want to start by thanking, and please listen to what I have to say before you boo, because I mean this sincerely. I want to thank a lot of the men and women in law enforcement from multiple police agencies, including the Metro Toronto Police Service, that have reached out to me over this issue and have provided some very useful information and indicate that they are very supportive of this. This morning when I woke up, and I'll tell you, I had prepared a speech, and I'm not good at speeches, so I kind of threw it out, and I just kind of ad-libbed this. This morning when I opened up some social media, which I don't normally do, and I looked around, I saw some comments made online about Adam Scully. and they were not good. They were quite negative. And that put a smile on my face. It did. I smiled, and I wanted to share why with you. Those people who say negative things, they can say those negative things because of people like Adam Scully. Because he stands for the freedom, all freedom, so that you can say what you want to say. You can speak your mind. Because if it wasn't for people like him, you would be told what to say, when, and how. Now, I want to talk about trust. Trust is fundamental in marital relationships, parental relationships, school teacher-student relationships, all relationships, in corporate relationships. It's very fundamental in police-civilian relationships. It's so important that the police have the trust of the people. And the people have the trust of the police. And we work together in this wonderful symbiotic relationship. Sir Robert Peel's principle, the founding principles of policing from England, were taught to us at the police academy. We are the people. The people are the police. And that's how it works effectively and efficiently. We depend on you. We depend on your information and your support, and you depend on us. Now, I've been retired for a few years. I'm no longer part of that game. In the last few days, I just wanted some brisket. So I spent a few days waiting and waiting for some brisket. I never got any brisket. Whoever got some, you're gonna have to tell me how good it was. I never got any brisket. I was there for 2 days waiting for brisket. I never got brisket. But I saw something there that I had never seen before. I had seen something that I had never seen before. Now, let's hear it for how many people were there. Okay, I'm gonna say, I don't know what you saw, and you probably don't know what I saw, because we didn't see the same thing. I guarantee you we did not see the same thing. I'm gonna tell you what I saw, because if you were there, you probably saw something different. Some people saw a polo match. That's not what I saw. Some people saw a mosquito getting hit with a sledgehammer. That's not what I saw. What I saw that I had never seen before was a hammer coming down and smashing a tempered sheet of glass into 1,000,000 pieces. And that sheet of glass was our Constitution. That sheet of glass that broke into 1,000,000 pieces was our fundamental rights being violated. And I have never seen a police agency violate human rights to that degree. I have never seen a mosquito hit with a sledgehammer during a polo match. I had never seen anything like that, and it sickened me. But when I looked over at Pastor Hildebrand standing next to me, I know he didn't see that. He didn't see that. I saw the look on his face. I know what he saw. What he saw was 12 horses backing up against the entrance to his church. Padlocks and bolts and welded rods all over his church. People being dragged out of his church. That's what he saw. That's what went through his mind. We all saw something different. And if you're a business owner, I know what you saw. And if you're a homeowner, I know what you saw. And if you have children, it goes on and on. Now, I was talking about trust. That trust was shattered, but make no mistake, at the end of that day, there was partying and celebration. Was any of you people here at a party or celebration? No, well, there were a lot of high fives going on at the end of that day.
All right.
Okay, there were a lot of high fives. Good job. Due for promotion. Yes, he's on the list. Okay, make a note of that. Okay? There were people who made the decision to make this happen and proceed with this. And it wasn't the officers that were there. It wasn't the paid duty officers that took time and a half to come out to this event. A lot of them probably didn't know what was going on until they got there. But they made a decision. They made a decision to stick with it. They made a decision to hold fast. They made a decision. We all accept responsibility. We all have to accept responsibility for the decisions that we make. And they should be responsible for that. Now, the decision to move on this was made at the highest levels.
Yes, sir.
I don't have words. I don't have words for the acting chief. I don't know what to call him.
Right.
I don't know what to call him, but I can say that in today's day and age, if a boy can be a girl and a girl could be a boy, an acting chief can be a tyrant.
Well said.
Now, I'm going to leave this with you. I'm going to give you something. I'm going to give every one of you here some information. It's your Christmas gift.
All right.
Please take it home.
All right.
Please spread it with everybody.
Okay.
After 32 years of police service, I asked myself, how did I survive this? How did I get through this? The shit that I went through. And by the way, I'm retired, so I can say this now. The shit always falls down, and you're the one at the bottom. You're getting it? This police term, this shit show that happened at Adam Skelly's, that's from the top. That falls up to the top. That's where it came from. That didn't come from the people at the bottom. Now, I know you're angry. I know you're angry. And I would love to give you some words of encouragement. I would love to tell you where we're at and where things are going and what's going to happen and everything's positive. But I can't sleep at night. I can't. I'm thinking about what's going on. And so I want to give you all something to get you through this, because what's going to get you through this is not prepping with rice packages and dehydrated food and storing water. I'm going to tell you what's going to get you through this. What's going to get you through this is your mental state. And I'm going to tell you the shit that I've seen in 32 years, the places that I've gone, the things that I've done, the things that people have done to me, the hole that I have fallen into and had difficulty getting up. I'm sure you have difficulties. I'm sure you have problems sleeping at night. I'm sure you go through stress. Well, I'm going to give you something to get you out of there so that you can survive the next 32 years of your life and beyond. Now, I'm not a fan of the tattoo. I don't do the tattoo things, not me, but I think if you're going to get one on your hand somewhere, you need to remember this word. Don't forget this word. Choice. Choice.
Okay.
Okay? You have choice.
Yes, sir.
I'm passing on information to you that I have learned from people in concentration camps, people in death camps, and people in prison. This applied to them for their survival, and it applied to me when I discovered why I survived and how I got out of those holes. I'm going to pass it on to you, and you pass it on. Okay? Here's how it goes. We all have choice. We all have the ability to make a choice. You had a choice to come here or stay home. You made a decision and you came here.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes.
When you get up in the morning, I'm going to start simple and we're going to get more complicated. When you get up in the morning and you look out the window and it's a shitty day, it's cold, it's snowy, it's slushy, and you say, what a crappy day. That was your choice. That was your choice. And I've learned to say, oh, choice. Yeah, don't forget, choice. No, it's not going to be a shitty day. Not in my mind. You know what it is? It's sunny and warm in my head. It's sunny and warm in my head. And you take that positive approach and you go through your day, it's amazing. I did that once when it first happened. Same day, shitty, crappy. I went to the supermarket. What are you going to do today? It's shitty. No, it's not going to be shitty. It's going to be sunny and warm in my head. I went to the supermarket and I said, I'm going to do my grocery shopping. Be happy about it. I did my shopping. Nobody in the store. Go figure. It was a nice store. I come out of the store. I go to check out. And the girl at the checkout, this was years ago, so there was no mask. The girl at the checkout says, wow, look out there. It's pretty shitty, eh? And I said, no, it's not. It's sunny and warm in my head.
Okay.
And she said, oh, yeah, in your head. Can I come in your head?
Okay.
I said, no, I'm leaving. You need to make it sunny and warm in your head. And she looked at me, you know. I was getting to the door, and the door opened, and I heard her yell, hey, mister! I turned around, she goes, I'm wearing a bikini! Okay, she got it. She got it very quickly. That's at the bottom level. But you're gonna have days when it gets worse. They're gonna get worse. And you're gonna need to be able to get through that. So, if you fall into a hole and you can't get out, you need to put yourself in another place. You need to go to Florida. You need to go on a vacay. You need to mentally place yourself somewhere else and tell yourself, I'm making a choice to shut down and go to this place. And I'm going to change the way I think. And if you do that, if you remember the word choice, you will shift. You'll mentally shift and you'll go to a better place. Okay? Now that's like having a paracord, you know, you're in a parachute, you can pull that. You may fall into a hole that is a lot deeper than that. That hole of despair, and I've been there twice in my life. Twice, when I've fallen so deeply down that hole as a result of what I had to do. I didn't think I could get out, and I tried everything. And if the vacation doesn't work, have a conversation with someone who died, who you love. Have that conversation. And if that doesn't work, there is an emergency secondary cord you can pull. There will be a box at the bottom of that hole. Picture that for yourself. There will be a box there, a glass box. Now in your head, it might say, break in case of emergency. For me, when you're rock bottom, at the bottom, and you can't get out, and all you have is that last box. Mine said, God.
Right.
And I broke that box open. I got down and I kneeled down, and I got out of that hole.
Yes, sir.
Okay? That worked for me, and I suggest you try it because I guarantee you it'll work for you. Thank you. God bless.
Freedom! 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 Liberté.
Don't crush it.
Freedom
Go.
to love and worship the God that you believe in. Okay? I completely agree with Vince. Many, many times. If it wasn't for God, if it wasn't for meditation, Dr. David Alhoff, take my name. That being said, guys, once again, we're running behind a little bit of time. Are you guys ready to hang out here for another 20 minutes before we hit the road? Are you with me? Thank you. Thank you for your patience. That being said, we're going to bring our guy up here, Paul Ulrich. He's got a quick message for you.
Just going to show you the view around Dundas Square. How's it going, guys? Good. There's a lot of vehicles out here today as well that are joining the march. I'll show you some vehicles. I'm gonna get some speeches. We're running behind a little bit, but as you can see, there's a long road of vehicles that are ready to join a motorcade with the march.
Scarborough guy, your thoughts on what's happening here?
There's a large crowd here today. If I were to estimate it, I'd say there's probably around 6,000 people.
You can put it on the ground when you're at a distancing square, and there's those stupid little circles on the ground, and everyone's standing around you like zombies, looking at the ground. And one of those things, you like click in. No way. So we're located right over there. Guys, if there's people from out of town, say from Waterloo, whatever, and you guys are doing your own rallies at times, ask me for a box. And you can bring them up there, wherever you're from, and spread them around there, right? Thanks, guys. It really helps to spread the message. Hey, Paul. What's the guy's name that did those for sure?
There's a lot of police here today. They always watch out for traffic control, so they know the route ahead of time. We spoke with police. One thing that you've missed as well before the speech has started today, Lamont Daigle was approached by one of the officers, and he was read his caution that should he continue with this protest today and organize this protest, he may be charged under the Reopen Ontario Act. So that caution was given to him today prior to beginning this protest.
17. Our Q Day. Yeah, so this is one of our Q girls. I know. She's not only cute, but she's cute. So this is Sam, and she wants to tell us a little bit about what she's been experiencing. She's got some truth to share. Here she is. Hey, beautiful people. It's nice to see you all. How's everyone doing today? Yeah, I want to see you say, rise up! Rise up! Awesome, I love all you guys. You guys are awesome. Let me give you a little example of what's going on in my life. I just got fired from a large corporation not too long ago, and I'm sure that's happened to many of you guys. For what? For spreading misinformation.
Across to the other side of the road, so you get a better view. There's a lot of bystanders, obviously, that are always on the other side, that are curious, watching, figuring out what's going on. What's going on, guys? Good?
Where's your mask?
In the garbage. That right there is all of Dundas Square. The entire area is full. I believe the capacity for Dundas Square is about 10,000 people. Definitely have an access of 5,000 people here today. These marches here in downtown Toronto, they attract a lot of attention. They're designed this way so that a lot of people that aren't aware of what's going on understand what is happening. So we're here today with the Line Canada. If you are not aware, they have been doing these protests since the onset of the COVID restrictions. We oppose the lockdowns, want to reopen up our economy and ensure the safety of our Charter of Rights and Freedoms. Visit our website, the Line Canada, as well as nomorelelockdown.ca. You can get a list of all of the protests that are taking place Canada-wide. A lot of police officers have actually been always very, very respectful and very courteous here at the protests. Complete different feeling from what usually happened, what happened at the Adamson's barbecue. There's also an SUV that is always at the protests with a facial recognition camera. Facial recognition camera is always at the top of the SUV.
Unity amongst our community. Guys, you gotta go out. I was there. Let's just take that lady down the street. Like, with the snow, on her driveway. Go and shovel it for her. Do something nice for each other. I want to see our community come together. And that's what this is about. All of us coming together, right? We're going to get over this.
Cruisers all the way down the road. Eventually, all the way down across to the end of the intersection. Cruisers are there, blocking off Yonge Street. So Yonge Street will be blocked off at some point when we're done with the speeches. And then we'll start doing the marches down the streets.
Give maybe a high five or a hug to a stranger around right now. Show the love and support to your fellow strangers. I want to see you guys hugging. Yeah, show the love, guys. You guys are amazing. Yes, I love it. This is what we need.
Everybody that goes and comes to these protests, everybody's hugging.
Smiles and hugs and that's everything. Oh yeah. Woo! We're the yahoos, I guess. What do you call us? It's funny, right? The media's really lying. All they do is demonize us and take away our humanity. They make us look like we're not human, that we're barbaric. Yeah, right? Like it's crazy, guys. This is crazy. But you know what? What's going to happen is we're going to come together. We're all going to come together. Because we're going to come together. We're going to turn that
Rise up!
on them. That's for sure. Thank you guys. Thank you.
Damn right. Thank you. Oh my God. Look at that smile on my face right now. Does that look like somebody who's freaking stressed right now? I don't think so. But I'm telling you, honestly, the cops that came up to us earlier, our good friend Pat here, these guys treated me like, because Adamson's was a completely different energy. But the way these guys are treating us here today, I'm starting to feel all inside like cheery and shit. But I gotta get angry again because I'm pissed off. Guys, I just want to remind you something. I want you to keep the sidewalk a little bit more open so that if we have anybody with mobility issues, they can get through a little bit easier. You guys okay with that? Make a little bit of space, okay, guys? Thank you. Now, that being said, there's a surprise speaker today. One of our polite Canadian patriots, probably twice my size, and this guy's got a heart of gold. I already know this guy, I'm telling you. Flew all the way here from Red Deer, Alberta. Woo! Put your hands together for Pat Terry!
Let's go, Toronto! I said, how's it going, Toronto? Yes, he's correct. Lamont is right. I flew in all the way from Red Deer, Alberta. There's a reason why I flew. After what we saw at the Adamson barbecue, Alberta stands with Adam. When we see that kind of stuff happening, we know what's coming next. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as of today, 5 minutes before coming up here on the back of the truck, they shut down the mall in Calgary, Alberta. It is under lockdown evacuation mode because they weren't social distancing. Wow. The next thing they're going to do is they're going to start with the small businesses back home. And we've been hit hard. Alberta's been devastated by this government. But what's going to happen next? What is next? And that's the question. Rock and roll. Now, what if we had a crowd like this that went and stood in front of a Costco? You stood in front of a Walmart and said, The choice is yours, ladies and gentlemen. You gotta do what you gotta do. But as Canadians, we stand proud and free. We stand on guard for thee. And the men and women of our armed forces who lost their lives fighting for our right to stand here right now, it is our duty to stand up for them now. They gave us those freedoms. Let's get them back.
Wow. Wow. I get up here for like hours. I don't get the kind of passion from the people like this guy. What? This is craziness. Okay, talking about Adam Skelly and our wonderful food people. One more guy need to get up here right now. Come on up here, my good friend. Put your hands together for Bill Fear from JW Foods in Scarborough.
Guys, I'm looking out at this crowd, and I see a lot of patriots. I see a lot of people that are concerned about our future. I'm overwhelmed. I want to real stop for 1 second. Where the hell's the media? Where's the media? I'm shocked that there's CTV and all these clowns are not here. But I'm going to be real quick because I want to get on this road and I want to protest out there so all the citizens see what we're doing. My name's William Fair. I worked 25 years to build a company. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm very emotional about this because my father, he built this property back in the 70s. And we took that land over and we built a proud company. And the bylaw officers and the police came to my business on Monday. And I've never been in trouble by the law. And I want all these officers to know. And I want y'all to listen because I always respected the police in this country. I've always respected you guys. You took an oath. Just like when I was in the armed forces. When I was in the armed forces, we took an oath. And I want to speak to you officers. Because what's going on? You guys have an oath. You take an oath in front of all, when you guys read your book, every one of you officers have a handbook. And they take an oath to us, the citizens of Canada, to our people. My company was dedicated to health and wellness. These guys want to shut me down. I won't let them. When that bylaw officer came into my store, when that bylaw officer came into my store, I opened the door, just like I do all my customers, and I invited them in. And the first thing that officer said to me, "Where's your mask?" Just like that. Just like that. I'm telling every one of you citizens they're coming for us. They are tyrants. And this officer came into my place, my office, my business, my home. And he said, "Where's your mask? You social distance right now." I swear to God, that's what he said. "You stand back over there." I looked at him, I said, "Go to hell." I swear to God, with all due respect to our pastor, and I'm a Christian, and I believe in God, but I swear, I told him, "You go to hell. Get out of my store. Stand back. You social distance. I don't social distance." Now, what I did do in my part was be worried, because we worked hard to build our business. And they're worried that a lot of citizens don't see what we do because they're blind to the system. They're blind to what's going on. And the sad thing is, they're against us like we got a disease. I didn't have a disease last year. I don't got a disease now. My body's clean. My body's clean. And like that officer said, I have a choice. You have a choice. We have a choice. We live in a sovereign country. We live in a free country. These officers deserve our respect, but they gotta earn respect. Yeah! when I was in the armed forces at the beginning, because I got out, and the only reason I did was because my grandfather served in the 82nd Airborne paratroopers against the Nazis. And my other grandfather is actually a German. Figure that one. And my grandfather said the reason why we left Germany is because of these tyrants. Yeah. All right, I got 1 minute, and I'm going to say something real fast. I'm going to go back to my business. They're trying to destroy me. And they're not telling, we're losing customers because there's a fear out there. They got a fear in people. I won't allow it to happen. I've worked too hard. But what I do ask for everybody here, like that young man who got taken, we need to get every restaurant open. Yeah! We need to get every business open. We have to stop this tyranny. All you citizens need to support our businesses. Why is it that a Costco can violate your human rights? Why is it that a Costco can say to you, you're not welcome here because you don't have a mask? We are welcome anywhere. Under the human rights, you have a right to decide how you want to live. It's on their signs, these propaganda signs. It's on their signs. If you don't wear a mask and you have a medical condition, how many of us have a medical condition? We all do. We all have medical conditions. We don't wear masks. 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 We support small business. We support small business. We support small businesses. This country was built. It runs on small businesses. And anyway, if you guys try to shut me down, you better put not shutting down.
What? Oh my God, the energy today. It's almost like an addiction. Rise up! Rise up! Rise up! Oh yeah. And while we're talking about rising up, I'm gonna let Dean Sparks here introduce the next person. You up for that? Yeah, you do this one.
And now we have Vlad coming up from Hugs for Mass because he's got a lot to say. Yeah.
Hugs over mask, yes or yes? I stand with Adam. We all stand with Adam, yes or yes? What a time to be alive!
Can we just stand up there for a second?
Yeah, get up there.
Life is the key word. Humanity is the key word.
Get up here.
This week is unprecedented in the history of the world, not just this country. Whoever was present at Adamson's barbecue for 3 days straight, I thank you on behalf of Adam, being there, supporting his business, and supporting his family. And every single business owner that wants to open up, that's the support you're gonna get also. There's way more of us than them, yes or yes? And we are not afraid. Two important things I want you to understand. When I was there, and I looked in the eyes of those police officers, I did my best to connect to humanity inside of them.
Sure did.
Because we're all human anyway, no matter the choices that they took on that day. They're still human. So when you're going to be faced with the cops, make sure you look deep in their eyes. Connect to the humanity inside of them. We have that power. We don't need guns. We have humanity inside of us. And that's what we need to all connect. The other important point that was for me extremely amazing to be present to is to stand shoulder to shoulder with every single patriot backing Adam and his business on that day.
And when we broke that door, and we chose to open his business, and police chose to put we all seen the movie The Tyranny spreading fast and wide. Guess what? Moment in the movie where you're standing against the force of tyranny, and people back in the tyranny are humans like you are, and you stand with them with peace and love, with cool heart. Cool heart.
Gonna walk around, just see what some people have to say. Maybe we can talk to a few people.
When you stand against tyranny, to protect yourself and
Look at the lineup of police officers. They're coming up on bicycles.
Will police back down? We live in this right now. We all live in this right now. That moment.
Probably have about maybe one or two speakers left, a total of maybe 10 minutes, and we should be heading out for the march very, very soon.
You can hear what I'm saying.
Stand down! Stand down! Every single business should open on Monday. Yes!
Go get it real, Joe.
Open up! Open up! Open up! We have the signs, guys. If you all have your business, or if you know the business you're opening up, come and drop the sign because we are all essential. We are all essential. And freedom is essential. We're trying to get a lot of these right now. The last address I want to make
It's 64 something. They're on the off-duty, but they get
There's a lot of people that show up to this protest. There's a lot of new faces that are coming in here, and there's a lot that are a little bit disrespectful to police, but that is not what we are about. Just to let people know, we are supportive of the men and women of law enforcement that keep their oath and protect our charter rights and freedoms. So we are respectful, and that's just the way we've always been and will always be.
Thank you so much.
Hello, Sergeant. How are you? Just want to say thank you for helping out with all the traffic control. We really appreciate you guys being here today. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you. How's it going? Good. Thank you guys for being here. Appreciate it. Hey guys, just want to say thanks for being here today. We appreciate the help with the traffic control. thank you for being here. Hey guys, thanks for being here. Really appreciate the help with traffic control. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thanks for all your help today. Thank you. Appreciate it.
You know, I don't do that guy. We're always running. He's such a nice guy. He doesn't come up here and be like, hey, let me come here, I'm going to beat you up later on your skateboard. He doesn't do that kind of stuff. The one guy has to beat me up once in a while on my skateboard. Is that, you know, we're gonna have one last speaker before we hit the road. Are you guys okay with that? And anybody that knows, please, we'll speak to you guys next week. I promise you. Yes? You okay with that?
Yeah, not that easy for sure.
Two guys to go home. Two guys are going. Let's bring them to I believe he has a lovely message for you today. Trudeau is a naughty person.
We're going to talk in the morning because you know it's cute. There was a bet in Ottawa and Edmund Trudeau's office said sorry about your luck. So when I called back the number, Trudeau answered, and I totally understand if he didn't want Amen. Answer Premier's question, but Trudeau's busted.
Hello, everybody. Sorry if I can't talk really loud. I think my voice is still gone from a couple days ago. From Adamson's barbecue. I said I would stand up for small businesses, and that's what I was doing over there. I don't know if you remember September 26th. I told you all, by November, there's going to be a lockdown. There's going to be a second round of business closures, and I said this time they're going to come hard. Now, I think we realized what we saw the last couple days was the most egregious misuse of public resources and police power that any of us have ever bear witness to. But I want you all to understand that there's an even more sinister reason and plan behind what happened. And I'm going to explain it to all of you today, and they don't want you to know. Why do you think one single business was singled out? They wanted to make an example. They wanted to speak loud and clear to everybody and tell you that you're not allowed to feed your family unless they say so. Their message was received loud and clear. But once again, why on one person? Why one restaurant? They wanted to scare the rest of you. They wanted to put the fear of government into your spine so you don't have the courage to stand up and do the same thing that Adam did. But the bottom line is, they know what they did will not stand up in court. They know what they did will not stop other people from staying open. But what they did try to do is they tried to give the impression that they're all powerful. They tried to give the impression that they can make up laws on a whim. Do you know what they did? Do you know how they charged him? I'm going to explain it to you. Under the so-called emergency declaration, Ms. Kathleen Davila gave herself the authority to declare that they can confiscate your personal property. Did you not say that again? You own your business, but under their so-called emergency act, if you do something that they don't like, they just write on a piece of paper that we are confiscating your personal property.
Letterhead's not law.
Then they change the laws. And if you dare open your door on your property, they will charge you with trespassing and they will take you away. and they closed his restaurant indefinitely, and by their little written order, his private property in a so-called free country is now their property.
Shame on the government.
Not only is that obviously immoral, unethical, and completely illegal, the reason none of this will stand up in court is these laws are violating our Charter of Rights and Freedoms. That cannot be done unless there is so-called extreme justification. Let me say that again. You cannot violate our charter rights, even under an emergency, unless you have extreme justification. Now, what's extreme justification? Mass deaths, hospitals overwhelmed, etc. What do we have? We have 400 hospitals in Ontario with roughly 525 COVID patients. How many people have died in the past 2 months that were under 60? Answer, I can count them on my fingers. We don't have justification. So none of these violations will stand up in court. So they have to do a scene. They have to create a scene so scary, so terrifying, and make themselves look so powerful and untouchable that none of you dare stand up to them. Why did it happen with just the one business? Why didn't the BIA, the biggest business association in Canada, open up an entire business park at once with 100 businesses? Because then it would have worked. And the government didn't want it to work. The government wanted to isolate one specific business so they can put 100% of their power there and give the impression that they could do this to every single person and have total control over the entire country.
They cannot.
They cannot. Look what happened just there. They had everybody, even horseback, at one small barbecue. That left it wide open for everyone else to open. Everyone. And there's nothing they can do about it, except try to scare you into thinking that that's going to happen to you. So I call on the BIA publicly, because I know you had it planned, and everybody here now knows. What's stopping you from opening up a business park with 100 businesses all at the same time? One business got over $200,000 in support from GoFundMe in just a few days. What do you think's going to happen when 100 businesses with all that support open up in defiance of this federal government? They will not have enough officers to close down those businesses. They will not have enough courts to try those businesses. And those businesses will have the same support that Adam Skelly had individually, multiplied by 100. And that's how this ends immediately. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been telling you this. This is united non-compliance. And all the federal government did is show us an example of their paper tiger power. They do not have the power. They didn't even have the power to shut down one small business. It took them 4 days and multiple illegal orders. And what happened? They made him $250,000 richer, and he's going to embarrass them all in court. They think they bought themselves time. They think that everyone else is going to be scared until it goes to court and they're not going to open. They think they can keep us locked down until May. They think they can close your business, put your family on the street. They think they can do whatever they want to you. And all we have to do is say no. All we have to do is exactly what Adam Skelly did, but with one business park, one group of business owners, supported by a large group of even bigger citizens. And that's what we have, and that's what we gotta do. I warned you all what was gonna happen, it happened. I warned you all you're gonna have to go through this before the sheep wake up. But Adam Skelly did something, he kickstarted, he was a catalyst. He showed you all exactly how to end this. He showed you all exactly how weak and how sinister our government really is. Now it's up to you to take the baton and run with it. It's up to you to support the next batch of small businesses that stays open. And there will be more. There will be more, many more. So I stand here today to tell you, we cannot abandon the cause. We cannot abandon our fellow people. We cannot give in to the fear and the lies. We have to stand together. And on Monday, I want everybody to open your businesses. Thank you very much.
Open up your businesses. Open up your businesses! I'll tell you, before we hit the road, one last thing I gotta talk about, guys. Drive the line Sundays, I'll tell you, because it's getting colder. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to be out here in minus 30-degree weather doing this for 3 hours, seriously. So what we're doing is, guys, the motorcade protest. We're getting in our cars, we're putting our line flags out there, we're gathering steam, and it's an excellent way to bring the movement of the people to the streets. We're causing patriotic disruptions to people's somewhat normal day, easygoing Sundays. We're constantly being joined by new people. The car numbers are increasing. We're giving people in the cars information. As soon as we stop at a corner, right, Chrissy? We did this all last Sunday. As soon as we stop at a light, we get out, we give people cards, we get our flags going. Guys, it's incredible. The weather's gonna get colder. But honestly, the people that can see us out there having a good time, they're letting us talk about because they're having such a great time, right? So this Sunday at noon, tomorrow, once again, we're meeting at LA Fitness in Dundas. We're gonna be driving south to the N4 and cross west of Bloor, and we're going to be going to visit one of our favorite politicians, actually where he's living, not where you think he lives. Yeah, he needs to hear from us. We're going to keep the final location a secret, but we're bringing some of our favorite media with us so we can report on the action. Go to thelinecanada.com, check out Drive the Line. Are you guys ready for a march today? Rise up! Wake up! Rise up! Freedom! Liberté! Liberté! We accept nothing less. Let's see you out there! Thank you, my friend.
What's going on, brother? You doing good?
Doing good?
Where's your fancy jacket?
At home taking a break.
Yeah.
Okay, to our wonderful police
Nice seeing you here, bro.
officers and everybody here on the street. All we're going to do is this.
All the speeches are done right now. We're just gonna get ready, get the speakers ready on the trucks. Take about 5 minutes. I'll go walk around to show you as people start getting organized. So just to walk you, I guess, through what happens. We've got these really strong speakers that are right out there, enough to reach, large populations. And then when we go mobile, you end up having the smaller speaker that's going to be on top of the pickup truck, so they can start driving down the street without delay. And then we have people that will remain here at Young and Dundas that will wait with the speakers and some other stuff to make sure that nobody steals it. In the meantime, all the other vehicles that are joining our motorcades, like these nice vans that are equipped, that army vehicle and different cars will come in and start joining. Police will start mobilizing. As you can see them, they're all starting to move right now. They are very well aware of our route. They are very supportive. Contrary of what happened at Adamson's barbecue, the police here are always supportive. They make sure they're aware of the traffic restrictions and have always been very supportive with helping up with the traffic. We have a predetermined route that we always send to the police a few days in advance. We let them know which way we're going, and we just leave it at that. Police eventually corner off and block off roads so that we don't have any traffic issues. I can't argue with you. There we go. So different vehicles that are joining.
Who am I to tell someone I'm not who myself? I was
The march seems to have stopped. Not sure what the issue is here. What's going on? What? Why? So looks like police services are now only allowing 5 cars in the motorcade only.
I kept moving myself. That doesn't give me the right to push the bike. No. In front of your bike. In front of your bike.
Get his bag.
Complained that the officer was being a little bit aggressive. So told the officer there's no reason to push somebody.
Okay, but my car is not in here yet.
It doesn't matter.
I want my car in. Dad, get in the car. Turn it around.
A lot of people here, excluding that van that didn't have to be here. Okay, they're in right now. I'm asking you for concessions. Next week, we're making an announcement. So what are you going to do? There's more than that. So what are we going to do?
So we just bring us to the other side until we come back. That's all let's do it.
Stay inside.
We already negotiated.
Just calm down. Tell her to calm down. I'm part of this fucking thing and I'm bringing my car in.
Can we just ask under what section of the Highway Traffic Act doesn't allow more than 5 cars on the road?
Come on, man.
What section of the Highway Traffic Act are we dealing with here?
I'm just not part of this. I don't negotiate with them. I don't negotiate with these guys.
Come on, guys, we can do this a good way, right?
Okay, guys, let's keep on going, please, if we're going to have a demonstration. Thank you.
Here, let me have my two. I don't negotiate with them. Sorry.
Because we already talked about the fact that it's not a motorcade.
Negotiate with a criminal that's fucking pushing me? This should be in fucking bars right now.
I moved my back like 3 times.
3 times I moved it back. It's all here.
It's all on camera. That's fine. No.
Thanks, guys.
So for some reason, police officers telling us we can't have more than 5 vehicles in the march. There's absolutely no authority to do that or why. However, I feel they're just planning to do that to limit our exposure. Similarly, there's an issue with one of the officers and another individual. Some report about possible altercation. We'll figure that out later on.
So please help turn me around. Like he
Stand up! Stand up!
I got news for you. There is no way out. You want to save small businesses? You want to end lockdown measures? Then stop getting tested and stop playing their games. Think of this for a second. If most of the deaths come from nursing homes, shouldn't we be doing more to protect those groups instead of just leaving them to fend for themselves? In fact, many of the elderly folks included in the COVID-19 death count were literally abandoned and left to die alone. It was actually the strict COVID-19 protocols that ended up killing many of them. It's pretty evident that our government has become good at creating problems out of thin air. Have you noticed that anything new is stacked under the ground? You know, stuff like that, suicides and drug overdoses and deaths. Small businesses. be it techno, deep, dubstep, or house. He is the maestro of his rhythm. He breathes life into his kingdom. The soul of a DJ is as deep as the sea. His imagination is not unlike that of a lord of poetry. As he sifts through his CDs and Serato alike, he chooses a symphony to our spirit's delight. In comes the kick, and soon after the snare, bass line then kicks. Now our hands are in the air, eyes closed as if we were all connected by an invisible force. From his heart to his mind, and with his hands he makes a choice. A choice that makes us dance well into the dawn and sometimes the afternoon. Keep rocking those 2000s, not trying to go home anytime soon. The soul of a DJ is at one with his sound. Bass drops and build-ups designed for us to get down. His aura shines bright like a strobe flickering off the wall. An average man maybe, but in here, he's too tall. Now I'm not just talking mess because I'm a DJ too. These might just be my last words. I just wanted to share them with you to make you understand what we DJs go through. Up all night, practicing that mix, making sure we come correct so that you can get your fix. Yeah, some of us are assholes, not saying any names. It's those ones who don't appreciate the history of the game. So for all you up and coming DJs, don't get discouraged, stay the course. Just keep on playing good music and sing your path of grace.
I don't think we've ever actually fucking Tony.
For everybody that's watching, Wednesday, December 2nd, 11 a.m., Queen's Park. Major protest. Bring your pots, pans, and whistles. Make a lot of noise. Very, very important day. Wednesday, December the 2nd. So this Wednesday at Queen's Park in Toronto.
Yes.
There's a lot of new faces that we see here today. A lot of young people now, which is really good to see. Demographics previously for the past 7 months has been from the 30-year age bracket and up, maybe 25 and up, but now there's a lot of young people that are showing up, becoming more active in what's going on. So now we're starting to reach the younger demographics, which is great. And there's a big show of support to end this lockdown. I urge everybody to come out with us every Saturday. So far, we're at Yonge and Dundas in Toronto, Winnipeg, Cornwall, Ottawa. There's a major event going on in Ottawa, Saskatchewan, Victoria. We're all over Canada. Check the website. You can find a list of all the protests.
Hey, government, you've crossed the line, and we're drawing the line. Freedom! Freedom! Liberté!
I'm going to walk a little bit faster, try to get to the front of the line. I'm in the middle of the protest here, so I'm going to walk all the way to the front. And of minutes to record just wait there and show you the entire protest as they walk through, and that'll be the end of our live stream. There's a lot of support.
They don't want you interacting with them.
Hey, brother.
Jesus Christ is King of Kings, Lord of Lords.
There we go.
Yes, sir.
Free hugs. Here we go.
Downtown Toronto.
Yeah, Trump forever!
Is this not obvious that masks don't work? Is it sure? worse than the disease?
Now they're trying to claim I'm spitting on them.
Pandemic was first sold to us, shall we?
Got video on that.
We were told that hospitals were overflowing. They were not. In fact, out of the 493 hospitals in Ontario, it is not helping. You are helping keeping them safe. Having a child nursing.